Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about my 3D printed clone trooper armor. Alright guys, roll the intro. Oh, we don't have an intro. Okay, just edit that part out, it'll be okay. Alright, what's up guys, my name is Carson, and today we're going to get into how I build my 3D printed clone trooper armor. So, yeah, we'll get right into it. I bought my files from Galactic Armory, and they've been really great so far, so I've pretty much basically followed his tutorials the whole time. I bought my 3D printer, well actually I didn't buy it, I was given it for Christmas last year, and I've just been slowly learning, and especially Galactic Armory has helped an absolute ton. He has very detailed, simple videos on how to do everything, so I've kind of followed his steps very straightforward through them, like quite literally. I learned a ton from his videos. I honestly didn't know anything about infill or outer layer walls or anything like that when I first started 3D printing, so he's definitely taught me a ton about that, and just taking on this huge project of printing a whole suit of armor has helped me learn a ton. I've also learned a lot from like Frankly Built. He makes Iron Man armor and he's absolutely incredible, and he has lots of videos. Yeah, I never knew anything about Mesh Mixer or anything, or barely even knew how to use Cura, so I've learned a ton from this project that I've slowly been working on. So between Frankly Built and Galactic Armory, I've learned a ton about how to size things and make them proportionate and stuff like that, but it definitely didn't start off as smoothly as it's been going now, and that's even, it's not going smoothly, so yeah, I guess we'll just get started. I started the same way that Galactic Armory recommends. I started with the chest piece, which you'll find out is a mistake I'll explain later, but I did print out the cross section of the chest piece, and then I made sure that it fit around me. As you can see, it fits right around my chest, all the areas, so I was like, okay, that's fine. It fits, we're good, and I went and printed it, and I printed it in 6 pieces, as Galactic Armory does. As you can see, I've been doing some of the finishing work on it already. And this is the Battlefront 2 version. As you can see, it's an angular trip instead of the realistic version, where it's a little bit more just curved. So yeah, you can see this fits me really great. Yeah, totally awesome, basically. I've been doing a little bit of finishing. I have some Bondo and some sanding and stuff like that, but I haven't worked on it too much because I want to print everything out and make sure it all fits together before I really put any effort into finishing it. And then, so once I finished printing out all of this, I moved on to the back piece. So here is the back piece, and as you can see, I've already done a little bit of finishing on this piece as well. I experimented with the resin stuff that he puts on his armor to fill in all the gaps and stuff like that. I haven't done a lot of messing with it. And then you can see that I have the straps right here. I have another one right here. It actually was glued in here, but it fell out because I'm using Gorilla Glue, which is, I don't know which kind, but it's one of them, which is absolutely terrible. I mean, it's not bad. It glues together. It does its job, but it's just not good for what I'm doing. It takes a long time to bond, so you have to sit there and hold it forever. And then once it finally does, it starts expanding a lot, and that kind of, then you end up with like a crack in your armor that's like, a centimeter wide. So I have to figure out how to use epoxy or something like that. Find some other glue, basically. So for the straps on the chest and back piece, in Galactic Armory's video, he actually doesn't even use these because he does the Coruscant Guard Officer, and the Coruscant Guard Officer has this big pauldron that goes atop, and you can't even see the straps. So he actually just uses, like nylon webbing, like for backpacks, and puts that over, and then has little clips that clip in. It's like super easy, but I can't do that because I don't plan on making somebody that has a pauldron, so I have to have the straps that look good. So I'll figure out how to glue them in, that's fine. And then what I did on the chest piece is, you can see I chopped out this chunks right here, and that's where, so the chest piece, the strap will go right there, and I'm just going to probably Bondo it so that it's not just jagged and wholly, or paint over it with resin, something like that. I'm not sure yet. And then I'm just going to put Velcro right there and right here on the strap so that I can just do, you know, pull one of these numbers. We put this guy on. Imagine there's another strap there, and then you literally just and the Velcro will stick in there fine. So I got that idea from Rexing Around. If you guys are looking for other Star Wars videos on costuming and stuff like that, that guy's super awesome. He has a really, really good Phase 2 animated version of Commander Rex, and it's super awesome. And he's got lots of friends who have other costumes, and they're in the 501st Legion and stuff like that. So it's super cool. They provide a lot of information. But yeah, so he has the Imperial Surplus kit. So everything's made of, you know, the polystyrene vacuform kits. So his are actually connected because he glued them together, but they're flexible. So he can just, you know, get it over himself. But they're actually breaking. So one of his other friends has Velcro right there, and then some other people use magnets, so you can just like, which is pretty cool. But I don't know if I'm not sure what's gonna happen yet. But, and then obviously in here I'll just put some little elastic strapping with some snaps or Velcro or something to keep those tight to my chest. But I printed this in 4 pieces, as you can tell. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of my chest pieces, which I printed in 6 pieces, just because that's what Galactic Armory did at first, but I didn't feel the need to separate it into that many pieces. So yeah, and then I went on and I printed my ab pieces, and as you can see, I have all kinds of test pieces for the front and back. Here are the 2 front and back pieces. Here's the front and the back, and I made sure basically that they fit around me nice and well. And as well as these work, they don't work incredible for when you actually put the whole thing out. So there was a little bit of, you know, mistaking and stuff like that, and we'll get to that in a second. But, you know, I printed out some other pieces, tried to see, because I wanted to resize it basically, because I wanted it to be a little bit wider for me, just because my hips and stuff, like, it was hard on that. So I originally actually printed it out wider, and then I got all my ab pieces out, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. Like, I put it around my waist. I'm like, this is awesome. It fits really well. And then I have it around my waist, and I try and put my chest piece on, and my chest piece will not fit over it because the width right here was too narrow to fit over the ab pieces. So that was my first big problem. I was like, oh crap, I either have to figure out what to do with the ab pieces, or I have to reprint the entire chest and back, which I really did not want to do because I am a cheapskate and I don't like to reprint things and waste a lot of filament and stuff. So it's just something that, you know, I am, and I like, obviously, like, nobody just has exorbitant amount of money. So that is the way it is right now. But so basically what I did is I tried to print out the regular, like, the size pieces that were the same size as my chest and back, and so that's what we have here. So they do fit around me, but the only problem that I had, so it is a little snug. I kind of squeezed myself in there, but it's fine. So I've actually lost weight since I've done that anyway, so but they do fit around me and everything's okay. But the only problem was there was this really big gap, you know, like this wide in between the 2 piece, the back and the front piece, which was like, even if I don't try and join the 501st, like, I don't want that big gap in there. So what you'll see is I have this extra chunk right here that I basically just took, you know, the 3D model of this and sliced it like this and printed out those 2 pieces. So then I glued them in there and bondoed them in, and now they fit. You know, it looks good and stuff like that. And then I just have on the inside, you can kind of see, I have elastic bands Gorilla Glued in here, and then on this side I have snaps and snap pieces on the elastic bands so that I can just, you know, put it around me, clip them in and stuff like that. So they do fit under me, they do fit around me now, and they fit underneath my chest piece. The only problem is now, because I filled in this spot in the abs, now when I put on my chest piece, I have to fill in that chest piece part. So I'm going to have to print sections of the chest piece to just make them a little bit bigger, but that's not a big deal at all. It's going to be fine. So what I recommend to you guys is to print your ab piece first, because it goes underneath everything. Your ab piece goes underneath your chest piece, and then it goes underneath your belt and kind of conjoins with your cod and your butt piece. So that is the smallest piece that you have that everything else basically is built around. So I made the mistake of making my chest piece first, and really if I wanted to I could just reprint everything. That's totally a possibility, but for me I just don't really want to do that, and it's only a little bit of extra work to fix this stuff, so it doesn't bother me too much. But my recommendation to you is print your ab piece first, figure out how that fits, and then you can print everything else probably to the same scale. So like if you print this at, you know, so say like you expand it this way and this way at, I don't know, like 110% in this direction and in this direction, then you need to expand your chest piece and back piece, your upper back piece, in that same way, and 110% and 110% in those directions as well. Because if you don't, it's not going to fit over it. Your chest piece is going to be too small and it won't go over top of this. So hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes in that way. Use different glue. That's probably the best. You know, don't use that stuff as well. Oh, also, I actually reached out to Galactic Armory when I first started printing this stuff, because if you pay really close attention, which I do because I'm building the same thing and I'm using his as a reference, his is actually very thin. The whole armor is very, very, very thin. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, how'd you do that? Because I want to save filament too. And he actually told me that it's not actually the files that he's selling. The file that he used to build is actually somebody else's that he had bought before he had finished his files or something like that. I'm not really sure. So he told me he could point me in that direction if I wanted to, but I didn't really care because he's, you know, a great guy. He answered me right away on Instagram, and he's got YouTube videos and a good community around him. He's certified in the 501st, so I didn't feel the need to do anything like that. I'm perfectly satisfied with these files. They do use, you know, a little extra filament, especially in the backpack area. You know, there's this whole section right there, but it's only at like 10% infill anyway, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So that is my first update on my Phase 2 Clone Trooper armor build for 3D printing. I did mention I'm planning on making it from Battlefront 2 just because there are a lot more cool options on how to paint and stuff like that. Like, there are the specialist classes, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, you know, with the binoculars and stuff like that. That's kind of what I think I'm going to do for mine, so we'll kind of see as I move forward. I haven't quite decided on how I'm going to paint it, but I did pick Battlefront 2 just because there are more options on how to paint. And they pretty much look exactly the same as the movie versions, and I just like the realistic versions a little bit better. Not to knock on the animated at all, because if that's your thing, that's your thing. And I think they do look really cool. I just prefer the realistic version. But yeah, I just want to try and share everything with you guys. There are no videos out there besides Galactic Armories on how to 3D print Clone Trooper armor, so I just want to share my journey and be as transparent as possible for you guys and just show you all my hardships and problems so that hopefully you can learn, because I'm hoping to make the video that I couldn't find when I am building this. So yeah, if you liked it, thank you. Like and subscribe. If you didn't, you know, at least maybe give me a little note. Tell me why not, I guess, so I can improve a little bit. I'm sure I say a lot. That's probably, I can see that in the comments. There it is. So yeah, if you guys like 3D printing or Star Wars or all that pop culture nerdy stuff, that's kind of what I'll be posting on here. I like to make stuff. I like as you can see, I got a R2D2, well, an R2 droid from Galaxy's Edge, Stranger Things Polaroid, all kinds of random junk. There's a bunch of pop figures. So that's kind of my thing. I like all the pop culture kind of stuff. I got lots and lots of videos planned coming up. So if that's something that you are interested in, plus the updates on my Clone Trooper armor, give me a subscribe, and that's really about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, and maybe get out there and make something.